on the Pacific coast of Mexico. An experienced fisherman named José Salvador Alvarenga prepared for what should have been another ordinary fishing trip. He had done this countless times before. The plan was simple. Head out into the Pacific, catch sharks and large fish, return in about 30 hours. Nothing about that morning suggested history was about to be made. His regular fishing partner couldn't make the trip, so a young man named Ezequiel Ciardaba joined him instead. The weather looked manageable. The boat was small but reliable. Neither man knew they were about to disappear from the world. Hours after leaving shore, everything changed. Dark clouds rolled across the horizon. Then the wind arrived. Then the rain. The storm grew so violent that waves crashed over the boat again and again. Joss radioed for help, telling his boss they were in serious trouble. Then the engine failed. The radio stopped working. The current took control. Within hours, the coastline disappeared. Every direction looked exactly the same. Nothing but water. For the first time in his life, Joss realized he wasn't navigating the ocean anymore. The ocean was deciding where he would go. The food they packed disappeared within days. Fresh water followed. Hunger came first, then thirst. To survive, Joss caught fish with his bare hands. He grabbed turtles whenever he could. Small seabirds landed on the boat, and they became food too. Whenever rain fell, they collected every drop they could. When it didn't rain, they waited. Each sunrise brought one question. Could they survive another day? The Pacific Ocean wasn't trying to kill them. It simply didn't care whether they lived or died. Weeks turned into months. The isolation became unbearable. According to Joss's account, Ezequiel became sick after refusing to continue eating raw animals and gradually lost the strength to fight. One day, he died. Joss was now completely alone. Not for a weekend, not for a week, for hundreds of days. He later said he talked to his friend's body because silence had become too much to bear. After several days, fearing he was losing his grip on reality, he gently pushed the body into the Pacific. Then he watched it disappear forever. And for the first time, he understood that if he was ever going home, he would have to do it completely alone. After Ezequiel's death, Joss had only one choice: keep living or give up. He stopped counting days because the numbers no longer mattered. Instead, he watched the moon. The changing phases became his calendar. He learned to read the weather by the clouds. He celebrated every rainfall because it meant fresh water. Some days dolphins swam beside his boat. Other days sharks circled underneath. Several large ships passed in the distance. He waved desperately. Nobody saw him. Or if they did, they never realized he needed saving. Hope became harder to keep than hunger. Yet every morning, he made the same decision: survive one more day. Then, after more than 14 months drifting across the Pacific, Joss saw something different. A thin green line on the horizon. At first, he thought it was another illusion. The ocean had played tricks on his eyes before. But the shape became clearer. Trees, sand, land. The current carried the boat close enough for him to jump into the water. Weak and exhausted, he swam toward the beach. When he reached the shore, he could barely stand. For 438 days, the only sound he had known was the ocean. Now he could hear birds, wind through trees, life. The people living on the island were shocked. Standing before them was a man with a long beard, sunburned skin, and a body reduced by months of hunger. His story sounded impossible. How could anyone survive for 138 days alone at sea? Experts later studied ocean currents, weather patterns, and his route. While some questioned parts of Joss's personal account, investigators concluded that drifting across the Pacific in that time was physically possible. The impossible wasn't impossible after all. People often ask the same question: how did Joss survive? But maybe that's the wrong question. The better question is, what keeps a human being choosing tomorrow when today already feels impossible? Joss didn't defeat the ocean. Nobody can. He simply refused to surrender to it. And perhaps that's why his story still matters. Not because he survived 438 days, but because, for 438 days, he found one more reason to wake up. Sometimes that's the greatest survival skill a person can have.